about it, huh? How about it, Bo?
How about it?
Ooh, welcome into the PHNX Daily Bet Show.
Warming them up.
I'm your host, Shane Diefbach, joined as always by, there we go, on Fridays, by Bo
Tardy.
Brock. Yeah.
I'm not exactly the Travis Barker.
That is Sean DePaz.
The Neil Peart. Throw it back.
Who's Neil Peart? I'm sorry?
The drummer, or
who?
Rest in peace, of Rush.
Rush, yeah, he's probably the greatest drummer of all time.
Yeah.
I'm proud of it. I'm not proud of it, but I'm not gonna hide. I'm proud of how open I am to not knowing drummers. You know what I think is crazy? And I understand that a lot of people know this. How people know the name of every single member in bands. I'm just like,
Yeah. I could definitely hit the head coach GM duo is way better than I can accurately hit most band members.
yeah. And we're gonna be hitting up some head coach GM duos because it's another division preview. Now we're doing the second most boring division in football, leading up to the most fun division in football. Which is funny because if you had to say what the most fun division in football is, what would be our Week 8 one? Because I think I have a pretty good idea, but what about you?
Probably the AFC North right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bengals.
I don't hate
You
that.
got the-
That's the sexiest division.
Yeah.
You know, that's like
Ravens.
flashy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want most chaotic?
Yeah, I don't know, most fun. I think that's probably the sexiest. I was thinking the AFC West because it's always sexy.
Mhm.
But the division I had in mind was one that is normally a first 2-weeker that we've done in the first 2 weeks, but is now one of the best divisions in football, in my opinion, and that is
The NFC East?
the NFC East.
Wow.
They
They've come a long way
they
from
have
the
come-
NFC least.
Yes, they have. I mean, all 4 teams could make the playoffs.
They could.
They could. I don't think they're going
They have to avoid,
but they could.
those step backs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about them in the coming weeks. As I've said before, every single Friday leading up to the NFL season, we'll be doing one of these where we are live talking about a division in the NFL and previewing some of the player props and the division forecast that they have available for you guys at BetMGM. And right now, log into BetMGM because you can look at your favorite props and futures and events. You can bet on the first week of the NFL. Once it comes time, you can bet on the preseason, which is amazing. Be careful because you don't really know what you're talking about when you're talking about the preseason. But it is still fun. And if you're more of a baseball guy, they got a fun game for you. Their Swing for the Fences Challenge, which you can play every single day until September 7th. Guys, it's super easy. You just got to pick a spot in the strike zone and hit a single, double, triple home run, or you can pop out. And you get a prize corresponding with each thing you do on the base paths. You got to use it in 24 hours, and you can only use your prize on the MLB. But there's anything from a 15% parlay boost to a free bet on the MLB. And if you're a new customer and you haven't signed up, use that bonus code PHNX. There's a few different offers depending on where you live. Before our Arizona audience, place your first bet offer and receive up to $1,000 back. That is 1,000 smackaroos back in bonus bets if it loses with BetMGM. Again, just make sure you're using that bonus code PHNX. Check out the show notes for full details. And now listen to me talk about the disclaimer.
Disclaimer, 21 plus to wager. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in Washington, D.C., Mississippi, Nevada, New York, and Ontario. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369, New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, Arizona. 1-800-522-4700, Kansas, Nevada. 1-800-327-5050, Massachusetts. 1-800-BETS-OFF, Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help, Michigan.
Michigan. Carolina, the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the Panthers.
It's a great college basketball showdown. A couple blue bloods.
Yeah, a couple of blue bloods. Which blue blood are we talking about?
Talking about the Carolina Panthers.
Oh,
North
blue
Carolina.
blood.
I was thinking Tar Heels.
I was thinking Duke.
Ugh.
Blue Devil.
Blech.
What was a Blue Devil make?
More like blech.
That's really good. Was the Panthers offseason blech or was it?
I liked it.
I loved it too.
I mean, Frank Reich, as far as the hire of a head coach, not going to move the needle that much.
He's the best fringe coach. Not like he's on the fringe of being a great coach because he's not. But he's the best coach that's if you're in purgatory and you're transitioning from a rebuild to he's the perfect coach to use it to scapegoat.
Is he a Monty Williams type?
No, because Monty Williams was like, he can elevate you. He's a what the Cardinals used Steve Wilkes as. It's just like, even though that didn't really work.
Used him as like, unfortunately, like a doormat.
Yeah.
Or just like a fall guy.
Yeah.
No, I think Frank Reich, when you look at his resume, and we did, obviously, as the Arizona Cardinals went through a coaching search this offseason, you're like, hey, pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a good resume of what he did early in Indianapolis and what he did before that with Philadelphia. Very impressive.
No,
but it's
Aaron
like
Glenn, though.
But you feel, definitely not. You don't want Aaron Glenn. But Frank Reich has an impressive resume. He's won before. And you say, well, how did it go so terribly wrong in Indianapolis? And the quarterback play, right? It suffered significantly. And he vouched for a guy like Carson Wentz, unfortunately, and it cost him in the end. And now he goes into a pretty decent situation with the number 1 overall pick and Bryce Young. I like what they did as far as building their staff. You know, they take the hot DC from Denver over there, Avero, and I like their play calling. I thought that he built a really strong staff, and I thought that they did Scott Fitterer, actually, with his back against the wall, the GM there, he did a good job in kind of building this roster up to take the next step in a rebuild.
Yeah, Carolina has been one of those teams where it's like, I don't want to watch this game.
Not a whole lot of offense.
No, you got the PJ Walker Hail Mary, which they ended up losing, which is hilarious. But yeah, the last couple of years it has been fun. Let's take a page out of Bill Simmons' book. They play. Is this team a league pass team or not? Like, would you flip a channel to watch the Carolina Panthers play? Are they a Sunday ticket team?
They have intriguing young offensive players, and Bryce Young, I think, just like you need a flashy point guard for league pass or a good swing. I think that they've got that. Yeah. Bryce Young, they've got a good battery. I think when you've got some players that kind of emerged last year, and I like it absolutely.
Yeah. I love Bryce Young. I've talked about him at length. I think he's going to be a very good quarterback, and we'll see if they can do it this year. They added some pieces in the receiving room as well. DJ Chark, Adam Thielen. Not really crazy moving the needle, but a lot better than last year. It was just Terrace Marshall last year.
Yeah, but he emerged. Yeah. I think there was a stretch there where he was solid. He was solid in fantasy at one point. They add Miles Sanders from Philly.
Miles Sanders is a fun ad.
So absolutely, I think that's something I'm going to tune in just out of curiosity to see if Frank Reich can kind of strike all the right chords.
Let's talk about the Falcons. This is a team that I feel like is being talked about so much. They draft 1 star running back, and now everyone thinks they're going to win a ton of games this year. They're like about even to make the playoffs.
Right.
What do you think about that?
Desmond Ridder, I have zero confidence in Desmond Ridder, but
where'd he go to college?
Cincinnati.
No, where'd he go to college? Panera Bread.
My guy Johnny University. Venerable does not like any of the non-Power 5 conferences. That's what Cincinnati was. And Desmond Ridder, I mean, he doesn't exude confidence. And then you've got a good backup, right? Kind of a chaos quarterback in Taylor Heineke.
I love him so much.
So like, could he do what he did in Washington, like where he could get them to win a few games, but then he's also got the ability or inability to drop a couple games.
Yeah. Have you seen a defense fall off as hard as this defense has? Like, where did Keanu Neal go? He just exploded.
Yeah.
Like,
where is he actually? I'm concerned about his well-being. I think he was in Dallas last night.
I don't know.
He was. I mean,
they've had a couple players
Florida
like
highlight reel.
Yeah, they had a couple players like that have just completely.
This is their approach to rebuilding this defense is terrifying.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, Calais Campbell.
Yeah. Like usually, like Clay's, like people his age, they're usually like wheeling them out into the sun, just to get some nice outdoor time. Yeah, is that your Calais?
Yeah,
oh my God, that's good? Terrible. No.
You do it.
I just wanted to go get the quarterback. It's kind of Doc Rivers ish.
It's Doc Rivers and Kermit the Frog.
He's like, it's
Kermit the Rivers.
I don't know. I just remember interviewing post game Calais Campbell and him just dripping sweat on me. You just couldn't avoid it.
That's
but
good.
Calais Campbell. And then they added Akuda, the 3rd overall pick from a couple years ago.
Which I like because they gave up, a 5th round pick for him?
Bud Dupree,
fun player.
I don't like what Jesse Bates, they just threw the bag at him.
Von Bell and Jesse Bates are both leaving the Bengals to go to the NFC South. Hilarious.
I'll take the bag. Yeah. Thank you.
Those are 2 opportunistic safeties, as I was told. It wasn't lucky that they were getting all those interceptions.
It's just like, hey, they were a team that thought they could fix their defense with the free agent market, and that's fool's gold.
Yeah. 2 2 chaos wide receivers added also, Mac Hollins and Scotty Miller. Those are some fun guys.
Yeah.
I think they're 7 and 10 next year. I don't.
That's one of those
Maybe, but they're second.
That's NFL purgatory.
But they're second in the NFC South, and we'll get to that in a bit. Let's get to our third team, the New Orleans Saints, a team that always feels like they're just winning games when they shouldn't. Like they're always around 8 to 10 wins, but never, a contender for the Super Bowl. They re-signed Jameis, but they brought in Derek Carr. They pick up Jamal Williams from the Lions, who I love as a person, as a back. I don't know how much he moves the needle. He'll score a lot. He's a great fantasy guy, but I don't really know how much he's going to move the needle this year. Then they bring in Jonathan Abram, who had a quick stint with my Seahawks, but not really anything else.
Yeah. They brought back Michael Thomas, right? Then they restructure the slot king, and allegedly he's going to play this year.
He needs to restructure his hands. I don't know what's happening with him. He just stopped playing. They lose one of their bright spots last year in Marquez Callaway, but obviously Olave is the one there.
Callaway go to Denver?
Callaway did go to Denver, yes.
Yeah. Just following Sean Payton. Are we going to see Jameis snaps? Is Derek Carr going to last?
Look, I hope so, man. I
eat a W.
You know what's funny? These are 2 of my favorite hated quarterbacks. People hate these. They don't hate them, but they just think everyone thinks they're terrible, and I don't think they're good, but they're fun to watch. I think Derek Carr is going to be pretty good in this offense.
Yeah, he's always pretty good.
I was looking for his over on passing touchdowns, but I couldn't find it.
Yeah. It's his passing yardage it's high too. I mean, he's gonna have to pretty much get to 4K. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, well, we finish your thought on this because I was gonna move on.
Yeah, I mean, it's Alvin Kamara. I mean, it's a lot has to go right for this offense to really peak, and I think their margin for error is very slim. I think it's the odds of this offense being led by Derek Carr and being kind of ushering back the offensive side of the football for this organization. It's not this team.
Well, let's talk about the best quarterback in this division, in Baker Mayfield, and how he's going to win the quarterback competition for Tampa Bay.
Baker, the touchdown maker?
I can't believe what this team has turned into. Do you remember a quicker turnaround? I mean, other than the Rams, the Rams and the Buccaneers were kind of similar, being in the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl, and then falling off the face of the earth.
Yeah, it's the cautionary tale of trying to run it back in the NFL. Their quarterback room, if the Cardinals didn't exist right now, it's probably the worst. Yeah, Kyle Trask, and then I think they added John Walford, and then Baker Mayfield.
Kyle Trask is just spraying balls in practice. It is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. The videos coming out of that practice, it looks like Bo is throwing the football. It is insane. Just
sailing, skipping.
Dumbfounded receivers.
Yeah, just awesome. What the fuck and it's not complex routes. It's just going out there and having a catch on the field, and they can't do it.
Yeah, I still think they have a really good defense, and that's why I'm not buying into the fact that they're going to lose as many games as people think they are. I still love their defense. They didn't really lose anybody huge. They lost Sean Murphy-Bunting. They lost Shaq. That's it. Yeah. That's the only big piece of it. They brought back Jamel Dean. They brought back Levante David. And the biggest question mark is just what their quarterback is going to look like and who's going to be catching the football, because you have 2 really good receivers, but is Mike Evans kind of, we saw him take a huge dip last year. Chris Godwin is still injury prone. If one of those 2 guys goes down, there's no one to catch the football except for Rashad White.
Right. Is Father Time going to stay undefeated against Mike Evans, who's been so consistent no matter who's been throwing the football? So this is a tough division to kind of handicap when you look at it. Nobody's running away with it as far as the odds go. So trying to pick who I felt confident in saying was going to win the division, just looking at it, I don't know if you can say definitively, okay, they're gonna get it done. I went with the best quarterback.
Yeah, let's throw up your picks. Let's see, because this is the value you took. Let's look at your forecast. You're just taking 2 guys to win the division because there's value. That's not plus 350. What's the?
Yeah, so I get them at plus 125.
Yeah, 125.
So there's you're gonna make money no matter who you pick to win the division if it comes to fruition. So I went with the Saints. I looked at the Panthers at plus 350, but I think the Saints are probably the best bet here. So plus 125, New Orleans to win the South. Derek Carr, you just go with the quarterback play. But I like you said,
a sprinkle on the Panthers?
Yeah, I'll dabble.
You'll dabble. All right. Well, this is my forecast. I went with a couple win totals. As I said, I don't think the Buccaneers are going to be that bad. I'm taking their over wins at 5.5. minus 165 at BetMGM. This is just like 6 wins for a defense that good is not hard in my opinion. And then I like the Falcons. I like the value of the Falcons to win the division at plus 220. I know I said they were going to be like 8-9, but hey, 8-9 could win you this division easily. Yeah. But if not, I don't think the Falcons are going to win the division. The Saints probably will.
Yeah.
But I think the Falcons are going to be up there competing. I just don't think the Panthers are ready yet. As much as I want Bryce Young to be ready, I think he is going to be almost NFL ready, but not ready enough to win even a bad division. And I think the Falcons and the Saints will finish 1-2. Doesn't matter which order. Give me that dual forecast at plus 135.
I like that. Let's take a look at the props we have for this division. Rashad White, baby.
I love it. I mean, he said he's going to rush for 1,000 yards this year, and I
364.5. Gimme. I'll jump on that. Plus, you got the rookie signal caller Bryce Young. Just if he gets to over 3,300 yards, it's 32.99.5 pass yards.
Yep.
I think he wakes up, rolls out of bed, and gets that. And then Adam Thielen, he's been over, even though he's had a couple down years, being one of the more reliable receivers in Carolina. 549.5. I think that's pretty attainable. Probably out of the gates, and that should be enough to get him to 549.5.
Love it. Well, I like Rashad White as well, over 674 rushing yards. He said he wanted to rush for 1,000 yards this year. I think he's going to get close, if not burst through that. Speaking of 1,000, Chris Olave over 1,000 receiving yards all day. This is the target for the Saints. Michael Thomas, go retire and spend some time with your family. Chris Olave is the new wave of receivers for the New Orleans Saints. And then Bryce Young, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Bijan is so awesome. But the quarterback position is the sexiest in football. Everybody knows this. Bryce Young, he could throw 25 touchdowns and get this easily.
I looked at Kyler Murray's rookie year kind of as the baseline. I think he could tap into that easily. So Kyler was like 3,700. He was over 22 touchdown passes. And I think that's right. It's within
just as long. Bijan could very well explode.
Yeah.
But 450, I love that. I love it. For a guy who was the unanimous first overall pick. It wasn't even close. He was going to be the first overall pick. I love the odds there. Anything else about this division, Bo?
No, I liked your picks as far as the offensive rookie of the year. That's great, and then as far as the win totals, that's intriguing. So it's one of those where it could flip depending on where you're going to get consistent play. You just don't know where that's going to come from. Like Derek Carr is such a wild card, but if he can play up to what people think Derek Carr, like a fringe top 10 quarterback, his Saints should be good. Even though I don't believe in Dennis Allen.
You don't?
No.
Really? I like him.
Not a big believer.
I'm a believer, as we've talked about.
We talked about last week. 2 in a row.
Dude, 2 in a row. You weren't a believer, though, right?
No.
Damn, that's disappointing.
No. I hope Shane Belieber gets dealt at the deadline. I think that'd be great.
To your what's it called? To your Arizona Diamondbacks?
Yeah, that'd be great. I think he'd be a good number 2.
Okay. I don't hate that. Well, that's all we got for you guys. We're here every single Friday. Well, Monday through Friday at noonish, but me and Bo are here every single Friday doing a division preview every week until
training
NFL
camp, baby.
Season. Which one should we do next week? Who's like the third most boring division?
Oh man. Do we have to go to the AFC for? No, the AFC is the most electric conference, right?
Maybe the NFC North.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Probably the NFC North next week. Guys, it's been a pleasure as always. You can follow me on Twitter at Shane Deep. You can follow Bo on Twitter at Bo Brock. You can follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_bets. And you can follow PHNX Sports across all socials, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. We'll see you here on Monday. But until then, peace, love, and be a believer.